Dealing with low self-esteem is something that the large majority of people go through at one point or another, and I'll be completely honest with you, there was a period of time where I struggled with it as well, but I was able to overcome it. And today I'm going to show you the 2 steps you need to take in order to get past this hump just like I did. So if you want to start feeling better about yourself, make sure you watch this video till the very end. Now, the first thing you have to do is to get out of the downward spiral. People with low self-esteem tend to think very little of themselves. They don't really think that they're worth much, and because of this, they often don't take care of themselves very well. You might be skipping out on showers, you might be forgetting to brush your teeth, you might be dressing poorly, you might be eating a bunch of junk food, you might be indulging in drugs and alcohol, even though you know it's bad for you. It's because you feel like you're not worth taking care of. The big problem with this is when you don't take care of yourself, your body, the way it looks, the way it feels, all of that starts to take a toll. You're gonna start looking and feeling worse and worse, and this will actually lower your self-esteem even more, because when you look in the mirror and you see your body deteriorating, then you'll think of yourself even less. And this is what's called a downward spiral, because each time this cycle repeats itself, each time you forget about personal hygiene or binge out on junk food and drugs, it just gets worse and worse. You take care of yourself less and less, and because of that, you feel like you're even more worthless than before. The first thing you need to do if you want to start feeling better about yourself again is to break out of this dangerous cycle. If you don't break out of it, you'll never be able to take the next step that will eventually fix your low self-esteem. The best way to break out of this spiral is by, as cheesy as it seems, taking care of yourself. If you're someone who lives in a very dirty room, then clean your room. If you're someone who doesn't shower or shave, then take care of that first. If you're someone who eats junk food all of the time, then you need to start eating healthier. If you got a drug problem, then you have to stop that as well. Of course, all of this is easier said than done. Naturally, you're not going to want to do these things, but I assure you, if you do, if you change the way you treat yourself, things will start to look better and better instead of worse and worse. And if you're someone who struggles a lot with bad habits, I do have the Tamed course, which I will link to in the description box below, that you should check out after this video. It's an in-depth free course that will teach you how to take care of these bad habits. Now, once you start taking care of yourself more, you're also going to face a new problem, which is resistance from cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the uncomfortable feeling you get when you have 2 conflicting thoughts in your head. There's a part of you that wants to take care of yourself, and there's a part of you that thinks you don't deserve it. So you're going to have thoughts like, why should I take care of myself? I don't deserve it. Or there's no point in taking care of myself. I'm worthless. And I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to combat this. But before I do that, I want to give a quick shout out to the guys who've made this episode possible. Brio and their Smart Clean toothbrush. Remember, if you want to fix your self-esteem, you have to start taking care of yourself, and this includes your dental hygiene. In fact, a study conducted in 2014 by Deakin University actually found that poor dental hygiene is directly related to poor mental health and depression. Smart Clean is a sonic toothbrush that is designed to make dental care easy and effective. I've been trying them out for a couple of weeks now. It's way easier to use than your average toothbrush, and this is because you don't have to worry about bad form. The toothbrush will do the work for you. All you have to do is gently move it across each tooth, and the toothbrush even comes with a built-in timer, so you know exactly how long you should be brushing for. Smart Clean was actually named as one of the best dental products by the Clinician's Report. So if you're someone who struggles to maintain good dental hygiene, then this is definitely the toothbrush to go for. Click on the link in the description box below and use promo code PILL for a special offer. Alright, so that brings us back to step number 2, to fixing your low self-esteem. Now, one of the reasons we have low self-esteem to begin with is due to the thoughts that constantly harass us in our head. You might be the type of person who constantly says to themselves, nobody loves me, nobody wants to be my friend, I'm worthless, etc. This type of self-talk is the reason why we feel so poorly about ourselves. These thoughts over time have convinced you that all of this is true, and that's because if you listen to the same line over and over again, you start to believe it. Now, in order to put a stop to all of this, in order to stop these negative thoughts, you need to start meditating. Now, I've spoken about meditation multiple times on the channel. It's without a doubt one of the most powerful habits you can add to your life, and I will include links in the description box below that will show you exactly how to meditate properly. But what does meditation have to do with increasing your self-esteem? Well, meditation does a whole bunch of stuff, but one of its most powerful benefits is the fact that it provides you multiple skills for handling your thoughts. The first thing it teaches you is how to recognize your thoughts. Oftentimes when we're saying negative things to ourselves, we don't even notice it. The thoughts just play in the background continuously, often dozens or even hundreds of times throughout the day. When you make meditation into a habit, one of the first things you'll start to notice are these thoughts. You'll have a negative thought and realize, hey, I'm having one of those thoughts right now. The second thing meditation will teach you to do is how to reframe these thoughts. Now that you're aware that you're having a negative thought, you can counter it. So if you made meditation into a habit and you come across a thought like, I'm worthless, then you can combat that and think to yourself, no, that's not true. I do bring bring something to the table. I'm very good at drawing or listening, and that brings joy to other people. This is just an example. Of course, you'll have to fit it to your unique situation. Here's a very important rule to keep in mind. The more times a thought is repeated, the more you will believe it to be true. So if you throw rebuttals at every single negative thought that comes your way, you will start to believe that they are false. This is very powerful because if you do this enough times, you'll start to convince yourself that you are not worthless. Now, it's very important to note that this will not happen fast. From my experience working with clients, it's actually going to take at least 3 months of meditation practice to rewire how you think about yourself. But every single time you notice a bad thought and you actively counter it, your self-esteem will increase by just a little bit. This brings us to the third and final powerful thing that meditation will allow you to do, which is to create your own thoughts. Like I just mentioned, the more times a thought is repeated in your head, the more you will believe it to be true. So it is possible, after making meditation into a habit, to pick and choose certain thoughts that you would like to believe. Take, for example, you start repeating to yourself every morning the following line: I am a good person who can do good things for others. If you start saying this line to yourself every single morning, at first you might feel some resistance. You might notice thoughts like, that's not true, or stop lying to yourself. If you keep at it, if you keep repeating it to yourself, then this positive thought will eventually triumph and you will believe it to be true. Now, it's very important to note that the thought you want to believe is actually believable. It must be something that is somewhat true. You can't go around telling yourself that you have magical powers and can fly, because it's going to be pretty much impossible to start believing that. You want to pick a statement that is somewhat vague, like the example I used before. I'm a good person who can do good things for others. If you think about it, almost anyone can do something good for someone else. It's not that hard. So it makes this statement much more easy to believe. If you start to believe statements like this, then you will start to feel better about yourself. Again, I'm going to repeat this. If you start thinking good statements about yourself, you will start believing that you are a good person and you will feel better at the same time. That's how you fix your low self-esteem. So again, just to sum everything up, if you want to fix your low self-esteem, it's a simple 2-step process. First, you must break out of the downward spiral by taking care of yourself. If you don't stop your body and mind from deteriorating, you will not have the mental capacity or strength to do the second step properly. The second step is to make meditation into a habit and to start reprogramming your mind, to start focusing on thoughts that will bring you up instead of down. Of course, all of this is much easier said than done, but at least now you have a blueprint. Again, if you'd like to learn more about breaking out of the downward spiral and meditation, I do have the Tame course, which is available on YouTube for free, as well as a couple of videos on meditation that I will all link to in the description box below. Besides that, guys, stay tuned.